Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome back to LBJ's Corner podcast. And with me today is a wonderful my Olga. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll
All
be back.
right. I would have loved to introduce you, but it would look like I'm setting you up and I'm not trying to get back at you for setting me up. But can you kindly introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Obaka Ikani. I I'm an agric person. I work in the agric sector, in the food sector. I do lots of community development. And what else? Yeah, that's me basically for now.
I'm also a PhD candidate. Let's put that in.
Ah, I'm a student.
Senior student. All right. Yeah. So let's just go straight into it. What does
Yeah.
productivity means to you?
All right. For me, productivity is it's about having to have outputs, desired outputs, with some level of inputs. It's there are some keywords that you must have in place when you talk about productivity, which is your input and then your output. How much are you giving in to get a desired output, right? So it's just the measure of your output against your input. It's a measure of your efficiency, is a measure of your effectiveness. Yeah.
The measure of your output as it relates to the input. Okay. All right. What is a productive mind?
So a productive mind, for me, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just talk about my own how I perceive it to be and in relation to my work over time. A productive mind is the mind that is result focused, that is result oriented, that in all you're doing, in everything that you think about day to day, week on week, month on month, the stretch of a year, it's about results, it's about your outcomes, it's about your output. So it's that mind that is result focused. You just think about the results, you just think about um the outcomes, the output. Yeah, basically. So the mind is has that construct already, that default, that whatever I do, it's about the results, about the end goal, and then all your mind is doing is organizing your activities to give you that desired objective or help you to achieve that result that you've set out to
Mm,
achieve. Yeah.
mm. How do you keep your mind productive personally?
So personally, there's certain things I do. One, there is that intentionality about setting my goals, right? Because one of the key thing is that if you're able to understand your purpose, I may need to talk about that a little bit. Um, there's that understanding of your purpose, there's that understanding of your vision, right? Which normally should translate to goals, the breakdown into goals or objectives, and then it will there's that deep dive also into or it will funnel into your task or activities.
Mm,
So your mind, my mind basically is is focused on results. That's one, but also keeping it focused on that result. I need to be able to to look at um all the tasks that I need to do to carry out during the day. And there's one thing that I do, right? I'm a process person, right? I try to outline, break down everything that I need to do, right, to achieve a particular objective or goal. So it helps my mind. It keeps it result focused, result oriented, you know. Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned your purpose would give birth to your goals, and then from that to daily task and all of that. What are your daily habits that you keep that keeps your mind in that state of result oriented?
Okay. So for me, my daily habits basically is about how um hmm, there's this thing that I do, right? I I try to develop that positive attitude first of
Mm,
all, right? As I
mm,
step into my day, there is that positivity that I go into my day with, right? Basically, you need the right attitude, right? You need the right atmosphere, right? So, and again, I'm an early morning person,
mm,
right?
mm,
So I also try to get up early, right? To ensure that some of the things or several things that I need to do get done, right? And I also put out conscious reminders of my
mm,
goals, my values, my objectives, my task for the day. You know, there's that conscious reminder, there's that consciousness. You need to put it in your face. So
yeah,
I try as much as possible, right, to put it in my face. So, and then again, my day does not start as I wake up. It starts
mm,
from the previous day or even a week before. So
mm,
I already have it planned out that A, B, C, D task should get knocked off,
yeah,
right? Regarding this goal, regarding this objective, right?
mm,
Which
mm,
the whole thing is the entire work you're doing and everything drives your vision, it drives your purpose. So that day-to-day task, as you're knocking it off, as you're killing it, even if you fail forward, right? You're failing forward, you're failing. If you fail, you know that no, I got to dust, I'll dust myself up, I'll push it, and then you get it moving. But basically, there's that thing. Be a process person,
mm,
right? Have all the things that you need to do itemized, draw up a schedule, right, as much as possible, and just be consistent with your time management, be positive in your attitude, stay motivated, and then also be loyal to yourself. Yeah, that self loyalty is very important, right? Self loyalty is key. You need to build. I have. I try to build self loyalty. I try to. I'm not selfishness, right? But you try
yeah,
to put yourself first. You try to put that thing that you're doing first. If God tells you that I know the plans I have for you. They are of good and not of it. So God has plans. So what am I doing? Like
mm,
I need to engage those plans and make sure that all that God has planned for us, we are also partnering with Him and then doing our own bit of the bargain. Yeah.
mm, mm. Hmm. That is quite a lot. And then it interests me now to ask, how do you balance productivity, rest, and relaxation?
So the thing is, the mindset of productivity basically can be applied to even rest, right?
Mm,
Because um, I need to relax, right?
yeah.
And and you need to build time, you need to build rest and relaxation into your time.
Mm,
You need to build it in consciously. You need to be
mm,
intentional about it, right? There's that intentionality about building rest and relaxation into your schedule. So
mm,
one of the things that I do, I build it into my routine. So every Tuesday, Thursdays, I play futsal, right? I try to consciously, right, those 2 days of the week, during the week, right, during the weekdays, I don't leave it up until weekends. And then weekend Saturdays, I try to hike, do more outdoors, try to hike, engage with the, because that burnout is for real. Sometimes some schedules can be very tight. Sometimes you could miss a lot because there are other dependencies around you, and you could miss a lot of tasks, right, or some of your targets, and then you come under pressure, right? But I try to manage it by, maybe on a Saturday I connect with nature, try to hike a mountain. It refreshes you, right? So the very first thing I try to do is build rest and relaxation into my routine.
Mm,
If you have to be very conscious about that, right? So I try to build it in. So for me personally, my time only allows me to on Tuesdays and Thursdays create time to it. I love the game of soccer, so I try to create that time. At least, even if I miss the Tuesday, I won't miss Thursday. And then for Saturdays, I either try to hike, um go to where I'm staying currently. There are lots of sightseeing
yeah.
that you could do and all of that. So it really helps me. Yeah.
You have answered the second question because I was going to ask you what are your strategies to avoid burnout, but you've answered that already. And just to put it out there, you play futsal, I play futsal. We are going to come up wherever we meet, organize your team. I will organize my team. You will be your captain. I will be my captain. Let's move on.
Oh, I'll show you. I'll send you a video. It will scare you.
I have videos too. I am one of the
Right.
deadliest striker around.
Okay, nice. I'm also a striker. Good. Bring it on.
No problem. Deal. All right. All right. Who or what has influenced you when it comes to productivity and why?
There are two factors for
Mm,
me, or there are two personalities. For me, one is God and
yeah.
myself.
Mm,
Right. Now, God, in the sense that I was created for a purpose. There is a reason why God created me. And
mm,
productivity, basically, there is that time management factor. And so I need to understand it. There's that time of your life where you spend to find out the purpose of God for your life. I
mm,
mean, I'm not trying to be religious with this now, but it has
yeah.
worked for me. It's important for me, right?
Yeah.
Finding out that purpose, getting direction to be where I need to be
Mm,
doing what I need to be doing
mm,
as heaven knows and as heaven wants, as God wants, right?
mm,
And then the second is myself. Myself in the sense that, do I understand this? Um have I internalized it? Um do I buy the vision? Right. And so the influence first of all is from God, in the sense that, Obaka, this is what you're supposed to do, this is this, and I'm in total allegiance and loyalty to God, right?
mm,
And so that has also helped me, right, to also be serious, because God is serious. He's serious with business,
mm,
right? So we should not, I say we should not be slothful in business. God
yeah.
is about productivity. He rose up
Mm,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He planned out creation as like you could see everything. And then look at the building of the ark, what he told Noah, right?
yeah.
In the building of the
The
ark,
arc.
and yes, it was you could see the process, you could see the
Mm,
detail and all of that. So I should also be detailed with my life. I should be detailed. I should be conscious of my day to day. So it helps me to, in a day I come back and I'm like, what did I achieve today? What did
mm,
I plan? In fact, for the whole week, did I knock off all that I plan to do? Right? You know, this is besides just your prayer schedule, and all of that. God is serious about time,
mm,
and so how much time did I dedicate to doing this, achieving this? How much time did I put in or effort did I put into achieving this and all of that? So it's because there is a source where that thing is coming from. I mean, it's a serious source, and it's like we have an agreement, we have a partnership, we have a contract binding us to
mm.
ensuring that this thing gets done. So that influence, that God factor is very serious for me.
Yeah.
And then myself, getting myself to align. I wouldn't say maybe, yeah, I really want to be. I don't know how I came up with being the best I could be, but I also think that it's also the plan of God because He wants us
Mm,
to be at our best. He wants us
mm,
to be high performers, high flyers. So,
mm,
um, to me, first of all, is just God. Basically, God
mm.
has influenced the way I do things generally. Yeah, and how I approach life and all of that. Yeah.
Of course, this is the podcast that pertains to life and godliness. And I understand what you're saying perfectly, in that whatever we want to do, there
Mm.
is first God up there who
Yeah.
is the decider, who
Certainly.
who pushes you, who encourages you. Because funny enough, funny story. So one day I was totally burnt out. I was drained. I was frustrated. And in my frustration, I just said, Lord, I'm sure you know how I feel right now. Please help
Yeah.
me. And I'm not kidding. In moments, in like minutes, one strange energy came from wherever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yes,
Yeah.
that's, I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
perfectly. All right.
Yeah.
What was the most unproductive phase of your life and how did you turn it around?
Ah. So I don't know if I can call it my own productive phase, but it was that phase where I needed to understand my to get direction, right?
Mm, mm,
Um there was that time where nothing was happening in my life. There
mm,
was no job, no skill was in use. I was just going to church most of the time.
mm,
I was just quiet socially and career wise,
mm,
and then it was a phase where I needed clarity and direction. So I just had that quiet in my life. I think it's over 10 years now, 10 or 12
mm,
years,
mm.
there about that period. It was immediately after school,
Yeah,
after I graduated from the university, my first degree,
yeah.
and then that was when I received Christ. And it was that quiet moment where I needed to get discipled, grow in God,
Mm,
and then also find out what I need to do with my life. And so, and sometimes you set out on that journey and answers don't come
mm,
readily. So you just have to stay because I understood that anything I was going to do at that time will be in futility. And I was serious about the will of God. I'm still
mm,
serious about it.
mm,
Right. So I am a pro will of God, if there's anything like that. So because I try to find out location, timing, what, why, when, how, and all of that. So will I say it was an unproductive time? But it helped me actually. It helped my journey. It helped me to learn a lot. It helped me to build some of the skills. It helped me to become more serious because when the answers came, I needed to act. I needed to take action. Some of them were time bound and all of that. So I needed to be serious with
mm.
it. Yeah.
Okay. I know you're into agriculture. How do you set your goals and how do you achieve them?
Okay. Um, one of the things I do is I I try to get involved with my goals, right? Goal setting generally, from what you and I know, it should be smart,
Yeah.
right? Right. So that's the basic. But it goes beyond setting smart goals and objectives, right?
Yeah.
So I try to get involved with
Mm,
it,
mm,
and then I try to build a process around it, right?
mm,
Where does it start from? Where does it end,
mm,
right? What are the dependencies, right? And
mm,
then I also try to ensure that there are MIPs around the goals. What are the most important tasks,
mm,
right, around this? And besides that, I also try to set consequences and rewards. It really helps me. So, Obaka, you get this done, and you get to see a movie this weekend, right? You get this done, and you do yourself get yourself a good lunch or something, right? If you don't do this or get this done at this time, you're going to walk 3 kilometers. Setting consequences and
mm,
rewards around it helps you, and then be disciplined about them, right? So I try to do that too. It helps me a lot, right? Setting consequences and rewards around my task and objectives, yeah, it helps a lot. And then I celebrate small wins,
mm.
right? Basically, which is rewards. Reward can be positive or negative, yeah. So,
Yep.
but I celebrate small wins, yeah.
Mm.
That's small wins. Do you think that, no, 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 no. When I come back home, babe, how far I got this? So, I was able to. They're like, why are you drinking wine now? You don't understand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I try to do that, and then I also try to manage expectations,
Mm,
right? It also helps your goal setting phase, right?
mm,
And then as you start engaging, you manage expectations,
mm,
right? You know that this is you've set out to do this, right?
mm,
And anything can there are some goals or tasks that have lots of dependencies,
mm,
and you don't have full control, complete control over.
mm.
So you try as much as possible to manage those areas where you don't have much control over, and ensure
Mm,
that just manage your weak links basically,
mm,
and ensure that they are not affecting the overall productivity in a sense. So having full control of those things that are important, or having um, maybe within a team, right? I've worked in several teams, and there are some persons that have key strengths, identifying some key strengths within your team, within your family, within your circle that can be that can bring more value to the table, and
mm.
giving them a particular responsibility, delegating to maybe a particular task or responsibility to them.
Yep.
It really helps. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Lastly,
Yeah.
I also try to do dry runs,
Mm,
right? I also try to do dry runs. It really helps. It really helps. If there's that thing that's very practical, right? There was there was a time I was saddled with the responsibility of what was it called now? So um it's about an outdoor activity, and it required lots of planning, lots of persons getting involved and all of that. So dry runs basically, apart from it being physical, you need to play everything in your head,
mm,
right? And get to ask questions. You just ask the right questions, talk to people about it, talk to people about your idea, talk to people about your plans, and then take yourself away from it. Don't be emotional about it, and let them critique it. It also really helps. Yeah.
hmm. What has been your biggest barrier to productivity?
To be honest, right?
Yeah.
Dependencies. If you have certain things, for me personally, for now, for me personally, right? It's when you have dependencies, when you have weak links, um, um, within a team, right? I've led some teams, and there's if you have certain persons um, that are they're the weak links within your team, they're not so strong, having to manage them, and these are persons that you're also trying to build their capacity, and you cannot give them much to chew, right? So you try to while you're trying to manage the person, you're also trying to ensure that the task is done or the objective is met and all of that. So it's it's a mix of everything, but dependencies can be sometimes even your strongest link can can just disappoint you.
Yeah,
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 so it it affects, yeah, those
a
weak
lot.
links. Yeah, yeah, it affects a lot. Yeah.
All right. How has technology impacted your productivity? Of course, we know your sphere is there are a lot of technologies coming and all of that. How has that impacted your productivity?
So far back as 2018,
Yeah.
um I 2017 I started using some productivity tools,
Okay.
and they were very helpful, right?
Mm, mm,
Basically, the one I started with was 2018. I started using Slack and Trello. They are
mm.
productivity tools just to help you manage tasks, and then ensure that you for me, yeah, I use Slack and Trello. It helped with task management, setting tasks, and then ensuring that they are knocked off or they are done and all of that. So Slack and Trello helped. It really helped me a lot. Yeah, technology as a whole, as even from currently, right, it really helps with you getting things done. And then if you are in in the academia, you know that you need technology as much as possible. Though I try not to over depend on them or rely on them. Yeah, so it's you could, because they also have limitations,
Yeah.
and you need to be very careful how you use some of the tools or tech. But for productivity, core productivity, managing yourself, managing your task, managing your day, right? Ah, Slack or Trello, any day, anytime. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What emerging trends or technology do you think will shape the future of your productivity?
For me, is automation and
Mm,
AI, right?
mm,
Because I am a process person, and there's a lot in my field of expertise. There's a lot about um, which is farming,
yeah,
agriculture.
yeah.
There's a lot happening now with regards to automation.
Mm,
Recently, I saw a video, a robot feeding animals, right, and um, getting the animals to get milked and all of that in a dairy farm, and somebody might think that how do you apply tech in agriculture and all of that, but I tell you, it's happening already, right? 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't like this, but right now, automation, generally automation. Yeah. And I tell you, it's already a widespread thing now. People are, in fact, there are apps now where you can determine the productivity of your farm, measure the productivity of your farm. It could
mm,
also help you calculate profits. There's a lot that, even okay, for instance, in managing pastures or livestock or ranching and all of that, you
mm,
can use applications to
mm,
look at the paddock history, and also even calculate performance, calculate profitability, forecast, and all of that. So just an all farm suit, and imagine how many persons' jobs
Mm.
that are getting done by just one application. So the
Yeah.
finance person or the accountant is there, supposed to be managing farm records and accounts. On the app, you can do that. You don't need a person to sit on that. So
Mm.
it's influencing the space already. So, but again, you still need humans to manipulate them, to
Yeah.
develop them, to create that user interface that will benefit everyone and all that. Yeah.
Mm. As we bring this to a close, what is your biggest productivity strategy?
So I'll say two things, right?
Yeah.
And they're just general principles, but they have really helped me, right?
Yeah.
So one is I try to master my productivity hacks. And then there are two hacks that I which are general principles that are out there, but they have helped me. I've learned from them, I use them. One is my productivity time quadrant, right? Now, you need to know or understand your time quadrant, your productivity time quadrant.
Mm.
At what time are you productive? I know CEOs that go to work by 9 p.m. There are some CEOs that go to work by 5 p.m. in the evening when others are closing. That's the time that they can sit and work and engage. For me, I'm an early morning person. My day starts from 3 a.m., 3,
Mm.
4, 5 a.m. I
Mm.
start engaging, right? And then around 5 a.m., my day begins to set course. It begins to, just like that, I begin to know, okay, there's A, B, C, D that I need to get done, even without looking at my diary or reminders,
Mm.
right? So it's just there, it's in my subconscious, and I start engaging with those things as from that time. If there's an
Mm.
email that needs to get sent, if I need to follow up on something, I just leave the message with the person and all of that. So for me, my day starts from, if I want to get something really done that's very urgent, very important,
Mm.
right? And it needs time, 3 a.m., right? 3, 4, 5 a.m. That's my time quadrant. For somebody else, and then once it's 12, anything after 12, just we'll start doing the things that are not so urgent and important, right?
Mm.
But you need to master your time quadrant, know what works for you. So
Mm.
for me, my time quadrant, I'm an early morning person. I start early, that's from 3, 4, 5 a.m., right? I get into my day, right? And I get the most important and urgent things, things that require my attention done at that time. For
Mm.
somebody else, he may be a 6 p.m. person, a
Yeah.
3 p.m. person, and all that. And so you need to also understand this with your staff, you know. Now that we're employing Gen Zs, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You need to understand what time, at what time are they productive?
Mm.
What makes them productive? Which environment? Some people
Mm.
work with music, like they need music to be playing in the background for them to work. So you need to know what works for you. But for me, it's the time quadrant and also um the task quadrant, right? There is that you need to understand what's urgent and important, right? I try to understand what's urgent and important. I try to understand what's urgent but not important, what's important but not urgent, you know, trying to play around your task and identifying all of that. It helps you because that thing that's urgent and important needs time. It needs lots of energy, intuition, inspiration, and all of that. So you give it more energy, you give it more time, right? And you get it done, you know. Yeah. So basically, I try to master my own hack, my own strategy is my
Mm.
time quadrant. I don't
Mm.
joke with it. Yes. And yeah.
Hmm. What a strategy. What is your final advice to anybody watching as regards to productivity?
Okay, for me, right, my advice would be that first you need to know what God plan is for your life.
Yeah.
Know it. internalize it, right? And then because in Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, the Bible talks about God telling Jeremiah, for I know the plans that I have for you, of good and not of evil, for you to have good life or expected end and all of that. And then there is a scripture in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3 that talks about plans, writing the vision, making it plain on tablets that you may run and all of that. Try to understand yourself, try to understand your source, try to understand what is driving you, understand that vision, and then begin to build a process around it, begin to build a structure, begin to build a system around it, and then be involved, right? And then measure performance, you know. These are very, and then be disciplined. Like I talked about self loyalty, be
Mm,
loyal to it, right? And then, as much as possible, reduce flexibilities, you know, and then reduce social media consumption. It's important. It's the biggest leaker. It's productivity leakage number one is social media. Staying on it for so long. Before you know, you are scrolling, 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 and on Instagram you spend 3, 4 hours. It has affected me before, yeah, you know. And then it's not just that you're on Instagram, you're on Twitter. Twitter is so interesting. You're just there and you have memes and everything to just entertain you and all that. Before you know, you say, okay, man, let me you just move into Instagram and you're there for the next 2, 3 hours. Before you know, you're on TikTok. That one. At some point, yeah, I deleted TikTok from my phone. I removed the app, not because it's not good or anything, but eh, TikTok, Instagram, I had to take it away a bit, and even Twitter, right? So to help me with time and so I could be disciplined with my time. And then I had to take them out, to so I just have where you see me now is on Facebook. So I just come in and go. So it's not that all of those platforms are bad in any way, but you need to, as much as possible, reduce your consumption so
mm,
that you can be able to do those important things that are around you. Yeah, except if your work revolves around doing a lot on social media.
mm,
But if it's not, like I can't be doing human, I can't. I've done community work, some humanitarian services, and you're talking to internally displaced persons, and you're on TikTok or Instagram.
mm.
It doesn't make sense. So
Hmm. Wow, such a fantastic episode, and
are you sure?
yeah, wow. I always say that every time I record this, I am mostly left in awe. Like I first try to, because just as you've mentioned, if you're not disciplined, if you're not true to yourself, there is no way you can achieve and as much as you would want to achieve. So with this, I would like to say thank you so much for coming, and every
Thank
time
you
I call
too.
on you, you come, and I am so grateful. Thank you so much, sir.
I'm happy to be here anytime, any day. Thank you.
Sure,
Thank you.
sure. All right, guys. I hope you've
All the
learned. I
best.
hope you have learned from his personal experience and knowledge. See you on the next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.